slow down, Chrisean. And then like when I was taking him out the video, I wish he would have recorded the whole thing for real. Like the whole like how I was trying.
People who watched the clip later said the hardest part wasn't even what was shown, but what wasn't. Someone close to the situation said they wished the entire moment had been recorded, including the struggle to calm the child down. That frustration quickly turned into public anger when Blueface reportedly told people to keep his name out of their mouths, insisting he didn't play around when kids were involved. Behind the scenes, rumors started spreading that Chrisean was reaching a breaking point. Word going around online was that Child Protective Services had finally stepped in and issued a warning. Either surrender Junior into proper custody or risk losing control of the situation entirely. The reason authorities were allegedly alerted was because NLE Choppa made sensitive footage public, showing Junior experiencing seizures, which forced widespread attention onto something Chrisean had been trying to keep private since her son was born. Once that footage circulated, people said the system she'd avoided for years was suddenly activated. Now, instead of being able to dismiss concerns as hate or lies, she was reportedly panicking because CPS involvement doesn't disappear with excuses. At the same time, Blueface was said to be directing anger at NLE Choppa's mother, accusing her of not controlling her son and allowing him to speak publicly about Junior's medical condition. As people started retracing how the footage became public in the first place, attention shifted to who might have helped push it into the spotlight. Whispers spread that NLE's mother could have been involved in surfacing those medical details. Those rumors gained traction when old clips resurfaced showing her openly discussing deeply personal family situations online, including allegations involving revenge relationships and private drama. That history made people believe she was someone who didn't shy away from bringing personal matters into public view. Once the seizure footage went viral, the internet did what it always does, slowed it down, replayed it, and analyzed every second. Viewers focused on Junior's body language, the stiffness, the breathing pauses, and the way his eyes looked. Nurses, doctors, and parents of epileptic children flooded comment sections saying this didn't look like laughter or playful behavior. Old clips resurfaced where Junior appeared to gasp for air on live streams while Chrisean laughed, brushing it off as nothing serious. Others pointed out that what people assumed were giggles could actually be gelastic seizures, a rare form where laughter happens without emotion or control. Medical professionals online explain that these seizures can look deceptively joyful even though they're neurological emergencies. It shifted the conversation from gossip to alarm. Suddenly, people weren't debating intent anymore. They were asking why medical symptoms that serious were being ignored or minimized on camera. At the same time, NLE's own family dynamics were dragged into the spotlight. Around then, he went live with his mother sitting beside him while he shut down rumors about his sexuality and responded to accusations from the mother of his child. His mom stayed visible on screen, covering her face and clearly uncomfortable, as he aired out private family matters publicly. That moment mattered because it showed how easily NLE involved relatives in online drama. With that context, older claims that once felt exaggerated began resurfacing with new weight. According to long-standing allegations shared online, CPS had been contacted the day Junior was born after he allegedly tested positive for multiple substances and alcohol, and doctors reportedly diagnosed him with fetal alcohol syndrome and blindness. In one old clip people kept replaying, Chrisean cried and accused Blueface of trying to take her baby. But insiders claimed she was actually reacting to CPS being called and hospital staff waiting to intervene. The story goes that she left the hospital with Junior before CPS arrived, flew back to Los Angeles, and the case quietly faded after a man identified as Sean Malone promised she would return. She never did. As CPS rumors resurfaced, more medical details began circulating. A family member publicly claimed Junior had severe cerebral palsy and fetal alcohol syndrome, weighed only 18 pounds at 2 years old, aspirated food into his lungs, and couldn't eat solid foods. They also alleged that follow-up scans were denied because Chrisean said she wouldn't take him back to doctors until God healed him. Medical professionals online responded that untreated aspiration and pneumonia at that age could be life-threatening. Others pointed out visible signs in videos: low muscle tone, inability to sit upright, crossed eyes, and a club foot. What had once been brushed off as quirks or delays suddenly looked like serious red flags that had gone unaddressed. Then more old images surfaced, this time under a much darker lens. Junior had reportedly been diagnosed with an inguinoscrotal hernia, where part of the intestine slips into the scrotum, a condition that usually requires prompt surgery. Blueface himself had once posted images suggesting Junior still hadn't completed all necessary procedures, leading fans to argue that delayed treatment could permanently affect development. At that point, debates about motives faded, replaced by concern over outcomes. A petition began circulating online calling for intervention to protect Junior, and thousands shared it across platforms. The narrative shifted from gossip to pressure. As backlash grew, attention returned to NLE and how specific his comments had been about Junior's condition. People noticed he used medical terminology that wasn't common knowledge, sparking rumors that his mother might have had access to private medical information through friends in healthcare, possibly explaining how those details became public in the first place. Instead of focusing on his son's health, Blueface redirected his anger outward. After NLE declined a fight and criticized Blue's priorities, Blue publicly dismissed him and allegedly sent private threats toward NLE's mother, blaming her for not controlling her son and letting him speak on Junior's condition. The tension deepened because one of NLE's child's mothers had a past connection with Chrisean. An old Instagram live resurfaced showing her alongside Chrisean, claiming Blueface had tried to talk to her, reframing the conflict as personal rather than just online beef. By the time threats were allegedly exchanged, lines between rivalry, jealousy, and family resentment were already blurred. Blue argued that NLE brought up things unrelated to the issue, but once mothers were involved, the conflict had already shifted into something deeper and harder to walk back. Eventually, NLE apologized for insulting Junior, admitting he crossed a line and owed Blueface respect. But apologies didn't erase screenshots or pull viral clips out of algorithms. NLE's own parenting history also came under scrutiny. His child's mother had accused him of neglect, emotional abuse, and extreme parenting choices, including claims that he made their one-year-old fast and withheld regular meals, allegations serious enough to be attached to custody filings. By then, viewers weren't watching for apologies anymore. They were watching Chrisean unravel. Instead of addressing the medical concerns directly, she lashed out online. Old clips resurfaced showing Junior riding in the back seat without a car seat, visibly jolting over speed bumps, while she laughed it off. Fans criticized the lack of routine. No toys, no bedtime structure, no solids, no walking or talking, while Chrisean focused on gym sessions, surfing dreams, and boxing arcs. At the same time, she cried tears of gratitude on live streams after receiving money gifts, thanking supporters, and praying over donations. That contrast between visible neglect concerns and public displays of gratitude pushed many viewers from worry into outrage. Blueface claimed he refused to co-parent and wouldn't chase what he called low success rates. But clips of him asking his other son if he'd fight NLE's son didn't help his image either. In one video, he jokingly coached a child on how to punch, which many saw as disturbing. Then there were claims from Jade and Alexis that Blueface had gotten her locked up by calling bounty hunters over a dispute involving a G-Wagon. By that point, the pattern looked chaotic on all sides. Nobody involved seemed cautious anymore, and Junior remained the only one without a voice. A long Reddit thread began circulating, laying out why people believed CPS hadn't intervened sooner despite years of public evidence: substance use during pregnancy, unstable housing, untreated medical issues, and constant chaos broadcast online. But this time felt different because actual medical footage crossed into mainstream timelines. Once hospitals, CPs, and law enforcement see the same clips the public sees, narratives lose their power. Insiders claim the seizure footage forced CPS back into the picture. Others believe private medical access made the exposure possible. Blueface allegedly responded with threats instead of protection, while Chrisean raged instead of explaining. The real danger, people said, wasn't the beef. It was what happens after warnings turn into orders. Because once custody enters the equation, nobody controls the story anymore. And if Junior is finally removed, the lasting question won't be who spoke out. It will be who ignored the signs long enough for it to come to this.